I know exactly how challenging it can be to make everyday movements. But it is so important that you still do it. And that's why today I will show you the 3 most important exercises, in my opinion, for every day. We call them the big 3. If you do them really regularly, the chances are very high that you will feel fulfilled daily and that the pain will decrease more and more. Just go ahead and try it out. I will show you 3 variations of each of these 3 exercises. So you can have a lot of choices and can always pick out the one that suits you best from each group. We start with the first exercise right away. This is already a proper full body exercise. This goes up at the cervical spine, starting at the neck, then the entire abdominal area in front, which means that the thoracic spine and lower back are relieved, the hip is relieved, down to the knees and even a bit for the ankles. This consists simply in, it is also the one that most vehemently counteracts sitting against the shortenings that arise from sitting. Take the hands to the lower buttocks and push the groins forward while pulling the belly button back. And then you go to the back and feel inside, and now you notice how it pulls over here in the front, the groins in, a little into the hip, maybe a little down the thighs. And it may well be that you have pain in your lower back and then you don't get scared. Always move forward, as mentioned, hips forward, belly button back, and give it some time for everything to relax. You breathe and go deeper and deeper. And after a while, when you do these 3 exercises, or even earlier, from the beginning, depending on how you are feeling, how your condition is, you can also include the head. Then you extend the stretch beyond the chest into the neck, with effects on the neck and so on. And you can always further hyperextend. Every time you exhale, you go a little further in. You press firmly with your hands against the buttocks and want to come up with the body, but prevent it. I'll take the head out for a moment. So you hear me better. You can leave your head back if you like and prevent yourself from rising with the pressure of your hands against your buttocks. Then you can tense up the trunk as if it wanted to rise, but it doesn't. And that is the important thing for stretching, to strengthen you and bring strength in there. Then you release this tension and bring both groins further forward. Pull the navel back further. Tighten again as if the torso wanted to come up, and then press with all your strength against your buttocks. If you can't manage to tense up, just leave it out. The stretching is still incredibly effective. And go in further again. And one last time, you push against it again, let go and go further in, and slowly come out and feel inside. Feel free to write a comment, and if you want to do a 10-minute evening routine, then please click here. This is the second variation for this exercise. You are actually doing the same thing, but you have your hands on the wall, which secures your balance, and then you bring your belly button back, bringing your groins forward. Identical to the previous variant, but now you have an easier time counteracting because now you are tensing as if you wanted to lift your torso. And this leads to the hands being pressed against the wall, and then you try to push the wall away, relax again, and go further in. Keep up for 2 to 2.5 minutes like we did in the previous exercise. And the third option is the one on the ground. You can also, by the way, if the holding power of your shoulders and arms isn't high enough yet, then you can also place your forearms on a couch or on a chair and let yourself sag just like now. First, go into a flexion of the lower back. So push the lower back up, bring the groins forward, and pull the belly button back. And then you basically have the same stretch. It feels a bit different, but it's also about overstretching in the hip joint, and gravity helps you with that. And in this variation, the tension consists of pulling both knees tightly against the ground, relaxing, and going further in. And now we come to the second exercise. The first exercise consisted of us aligning everything nicely up front, and now the body is already screaming for it. Maybe you noticed earlier, it wants to go forward because it knows exactly it wants to balance that out. And if we now bend forward, we also have the entire trunk in there, from head over neck, upper back, lower back, buttocks, hind legs, knees. All of that is now practically released from the back. It goes as follows. Stand shoulder width apart, fully extend your knees, and then try to see how far you can go down. And somewhere, maybe it's here, then that's your practice position. Maybe it's here, then this is your practice position. Maybe it's here, then it would be it. So come down right away. It doesn't matter where you are, you go exactly into your exercise position. I am going to use this as an example. So the biggest mistake now is that the knees are slightly bent. That's why push it all the way through. Push them through, use your hands calmly for assistance, and remind the knees repeatedly that they must be fully extended. And where do you feel the stretching now? There are two hot spots, so to speak. One hot spot is the popliteal fossa, and the other hot spot is the lower back. Sometimes one thing, sometimes the other is more in the foreground. It doesn't really matter in the end. You always focus on where it hurts the most. And this pain, which must be just positive enough to be tolerable, should just be a feeling of well-being. A pleasant pain. And then we slowly let ourselves down more and more. And it is better to have the knees fully extended and not go down as far than to bend them slightly and go down further. Because we are now turning this into a full body exercise, and the back line of the legs here is so important, that's why the knees must be fully extended. Yes, and you pull yourself down from gravity, respectively by touching the leg with your fingers or hands. You keep pulling yourself further down. Breathe deeply and make sure, as mentioned, that the knees remain straight. Keep checking. Are they still extended? Calmly press down and continue working your way down. And now you reach or go with your hands behind your legs. Both are possible. And if you want to move your torso upwards, hold on tight, then let go and continue moving downwards. And again, you pull up really hard, but in a way that is still bearable. Let go again and pull down further. And again, you pull up more and more, relax again and go further down. And then breathe 2 or 3 times, stretch your knees even further, stretch your knees even further, stretch your knees even further, and then slowly come back up. And now you already notice when you have done the first exercise, when you overstretch, and the second one, wow, already a completely different body feeling, right? Imagine doing this regularly. What happens after 2 weeks? What happens after 2 months? What happens in a year? And you can use that wonderfully for it. Okay, for the second variation of this exercise, you need a chair or a low table, something where you can place your hands so you are a bit safer. And the exercise is the same, you just let yourself down further and further on the chair. And now you do the counter tension by grabbing the chair and pretending as if you want to lift it, but you are unable to do so because you have limited strength. So it doesn't really lift, but you can still nicely counter tension, and then you work your way down along the chair. Third variation of this exercise on the mat. If you want to practice on the mat, or if it is more comfortable for you to sit, it also has another advantage. I have also taken the loop for it, but you can also replace it with a belt or a towel, whatever you have. Information about the exercise loop can be found here. And you go over like this and pull yourself. Now look, it may be that you don't get any further than this. No problem, don't worry. A few weeks later, the world looks completely different. Or you can reach up to here or up to here. Some can reach right from the beginning. It doesn't really matter, but most cannot touch their feet with straight knees when they start practicing. And that's why the loop is so helpful, because now you can pull yourself forward on the loop, but you can still do something. You can actually want to pull your torso backwards and your feet forward at the same time when tensing. Then you have a more complete force impact on the entire back of the body, and that is an advantage of this exercise on the floor. You can't do that with all the other variations because the stretching of the feet is limited by gravity, and you would then become unstable, maybe wobble or something. So here the tension would be like this. The torso wants to go back and the feet want to go forward. You tense against it, relax and go further in, and repeat that during the exercise time. And feel free to leave a comment about how that feels. It may well be that it already feels a little better. And please share this video. This video is super important. These 3 big exercises, everyone should do them. And after we have now freed up the front body line and the back body line, we free up this cross line across the chest into the arms. And when we have done the 3 things, then feel inside and see what has changed. And we go into the horizontal position, and then we go 30 degrees higher. About here, step 1 foot back and move 1 foot forward, then continue towards the wall. Towards the corner, more precisely. Towards the corner. And then you may notice, especially when you have a rough wallpaper like this one here, you want to go further in, but your hands don't come along because they are sticking to the wall, so to speak. Now pay close attention. Now take your fingers and bend them. Then you go onto your fingertips, lift your wrist up, go further forward, and notice, oh, now I can go further in, exactly as much further as the elbows can extend. And then you are in the next stretching position. Work and stretch yourself further in. And you join in right away. Okay, join right in. You can hear my instructions. You don't have to look at the screen. You must probably feel the stretching in your shoulders now, over the chest to the sternum, down the arms, adjusting it so that it is just bearable, as always, and try to get out of the hollow back as much as possible. Yes, try to get out of the lordosis as much as possible. Keep going further in. When you notice you are stuck against the wall and there is not enough space, then raise your fingers again, lift your wrist. This will cause your elbows to bend a little, and then you can go a bit further in. And depending on how far you want to go in, you place your fingers on the wall more or less towards the corner when gripping. If you only move it a little bit, then the stretching is not much greater either. With that, you can adjust it well. So, and now we start with our strength training and press as hard as possible against the walls with both hands. Press really firmly. And press even harder and press even harder and a little bit harder. And then move the fingers a little further and back into the stretch. Now stretch, bigger stretch, and again. The hands press against the walls, press harder against the walls and even harder. And relax again. And I notice with myself, that is the limit. I am not pushing it now, but I am moving a little further forward from the shoulders. That's enough for me now for the increase. And then again, press the hands really tight and even tighter and a little bit tighter, and then relax again and push a little further in. More and more, and slowly come out again. And now please feel exactly how amazing that feels. That's like floating, isn't it? And this floating sensation you're feeling now, after being in the corner like that, we want to make it part of the overall body condition. And that is possible, as shown by this one exercise, because the same thing happens with the other exercises. Only here you feel it the most, that's why it's always so motivating. I will show you the second variation of this exercise, because very often the corners are so cluttered in the apartments, many people always complain that they have no free corner. And therefore, if you don't have a free corner either, you can go on 2 chairs or in the door frame. 2 chairs are preferable because door frames are sometimes a bit tricky to practice with because of the angles. With 2 chairs, you position yourself in such a way that the angle is initially suitable, and then you practically bend your sternum, lower your sternum downward, and that way you can achieve exactly this stretch. Then stretch in there, the counter tension would be identical again. Press against the chairs, making sure that the body does not move so it does not rise up from the pressure. That would be a mistake. Instead, press, stay relaxed, go further down, and so on. By the way, I hadn't mentioned yet, in the third exercise, it's all about freeing the shoulders, the neck, and the elbows, sometimes even the wrists. Depending on how it goes around the corner in the wall. For the third exercise, which we will now do on the mat, lie on your stomach. First raise your right arm to shoulder height and then to 30 degrees. Extend your left leg out 30 centimeters. Your right leg as well. Place your left hand down. Now look away from the stretched arm with your head. Extend your left knee out and go deeper into the stretch more and more. And when you notice that you are more or less inside the stretching, the counter tension is such that the whole arm presses against the ground and the shoulder does not move away from the ground if possible. And I will show the same thing again on the other side. The left arm goes out, then at 30 degrees, extend the right leg, extend the left leg, and turn the head to the right, place the right hand down. Always make sure that the left shoulder touches the ground nicely, and then you stretch. Now we'll do the strength training, push against it, and relax again. And as with all exercises, it is also important with the big 3 to do them every day if possible. And that's where the problem starts for many people, because regularly training, building up the routine, doing it every day, that's difficult for many. I call it the energy saving system, which is still inside us from evolution or as a result of evolution. But how do we manage that? It is difficult and it requires a lot of willpower, yet many give up again and again because they simply cannot do it. And we want to play soccer and dance with our granddaughters and grandsons at a very old age. And down here you get the subscription to the channel. Remember to activate the bell so you don't miss any exercises. Goodbye until next time.